Well, hello there, YouStormer. It is the 11th of August 2024, and we're going to check in the world's storms. First of all, let's check out Tropical Storm Maria, which is heading into northern Honshu, Japan. And here is Tropical Storm Maria. I have to say, it's looking a little better than I thought it was going to look like, even though it's obviously not got an eye, and it's not a typhoon, but it's a tropical storm. But it's the symmetry, axisymmetry of it that looks quite good on the satellite imagery. But it isn't a strong storm, and the main issue appears to be rainfall, so we're going to take a look at that. But before we look at that, we're going to have to check out these lee vortices coming off the island of Rishiri off Hokkaido. I'm going to zoom in there because that looks really impressive. Definitely in danger of getting distracted here because this is really a nice example of lee vortices coming off Rishiri, which has, I think it's like a 2,700 meter high volcano on it. Dormant, eroded volcano, but still pretty high. Anyway, this is on the Japanese domain, which means we can go higher temporal resolution in more frequent time imagery if we want, and I'm probably going to have to do that. But let's get back to the storm. Well, I was only 1,000 meters out. It's actually 1,700 meters, 1,721 to be precise. Whoops. Alright, back to the storm. It is heading into northern Honshu. It's north of Sendai. I think Sendai is down in here. And it's going in at tropical storm strength, a pretty weak tropical storm strength, 40 knots coming in towards land. Let's take a look at the rainfall totals. But first, a quick look at the winds as the storm heads in. You can see the broad circulation pretty heading in towards northern Honshu. There we go. Those winds are, you would expect to be 40 knots about, 75 kilometers an hour. Let's switch that to knots. You can do that down here. Yep, there we go, 41 knots. Pretty spot on. Let's look at the rain. European Center model shows the rain arriving into northern Honshu at the moment, and then producing heavy rain up there in the north as the circulation comes ashore. We're into Monday morning, and then the storm impacting into the mountains, producing very heavy rainfall in Ichinoseki, looks like, and Morioka as well, getting heavy rain as the system passes through and across the top of the island. It does keep moving into the Sea of Japan, so hopefully the rain will die off through Monday. Actually into Tuesday night, then we should see things calm down a little bit. The rain moving over to the west coast of northern Honshu. Looking at the 3-day accumulated rainfall, the highest rain is north of Sendai in the mountains between Sendai and Hirono. We've got values of between 100 and 200 millimeters, mainly in the 100 to 150 range. It's concentrated in the mountains there. So very heavy rainfall, but not astronomical. Well, you know, I can't let these lee vortices go, of course. Unfortunately, we're going to have a closer look at these. They're actually called von Karman vortices, and this is the Terra Modis view. It's not brilliant, cut off here, but we may just have a chance of seeing it in the Sentinel-2 detailed satellite, so I'll take a look at that. Nope. Unfortunately, the Sentinel-2 or neither the Landsat either. Both did not get a pass today over Rishiri, but we do have this Sentinel-3 image to tide us over, but it's a little coarser resolution. Never mind. Alright, Miladio or Milasio. Let's take a look at the Atlantic because things are churning up again, and we've got this disturbance off far to the east of the Antilles, but that is forecast to potentially develop. I need to check this out. Also, notice this thunderstorm down here. This is over Lake Maracaibo, and this is a nocturnal thunderstorm very famous for its lightning. And this is a view from a couple of days ago of that same thunderstorm. I made a little loop of it. It was firing on all of its cylinders. But back to the important stuff, which is this orange X. Disturbance 1, 60% chance of cyclone formation in 48 hours. A broad area of showers and thunderstorms showing signs of organization. Right, we're going to have to get straight over to the models. This disturbance has the very exciting name of Invest 98L, and they have released the HWRF forecast. So we've got a high resolution domain that's following the storm. And there's not much there in the initials, as you'd expect, because there's nothing there. I'm going to switch over to the wind and let's see how the HWRF deals with this thing. I haven't looked at this at all, so let's see what happens. As we go along, we're heading into Monday, and the system is now tropical storm strength. So, and increasing, there's a brief bit of hurricane strength there. I'm just going to bump it forward. And we see the storm developing into a hurricane as it heads in towards the Antilles Islands of the Caribbean. And it is a Category 1 hurricane in the hurricane warf as it heads across these islands. I'll check what islands those are, I don't know offhand. But it is impacting a number of islands at hurricane strength as we head into Wednesday. So this isn't far off. This is going to be, looks like likely an intensifying hurricane, but it is not a major hurricane in this model at this point, but that is a major hurricane. It then develops into a major hurricane as it moves north of the Caribbean islands and becomes a very strong major hurricane as it's heading in up towards the north. Let's take a look in more detail at this. Well, this is something exciting. Super ensemble of multiple models got here of 98L, and you can see them all progressing up relatively similar track, and there's a big divergence towards the end, which means that we've got everything from Bermuda to the Bahamas to the East Coast US, all potentially within the track depending on how quickly it recurves as it moves into the latter part of this forecast. We also have this graph which shows the intensity predictions by various different things, from the ships to the hurricane wharf and HMA. I don't know what some of these are, but they are showing a general, the majority of the systems are producing a Category 2 hurricane as we move towards the 84 hours from the start of this, which was 06 UTC today. So what are those islands in the path of this developing potential hurricane? Well, these are the tracks overlaid in Google Earth, and we can see that we've got Antigua and Barbuda. Guadeloupe is probably maybe a bit south of the consensus track. It's close. Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, and then it moves up to the, well, it could be over Puerto Rico, or to the east would take it over these islands, Spanish Town and the settlement, US Virgin Islands. And then it curves up and moves away from land, and we enter the uncertainty as tracks diverge all the way off to the Bahamas potentially. And then moving up towards, probably got Bermuda up here somewhere. Is that Bermuda? Yes, it is. So it looks like we will have a developing hurricane. At the moment, it looks like it would be not a major hurricane moving through these islands of the Caribbean, but then becoming a major hurricane after that potentially looks the most likely scenario. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. Obviously, intensification, if there's greater intensification in the next 48 to 60 hours, then we could be looking at a stronger storm going through these islands. But this is a very, very important storm to monitor very carefully, and we will check in on it again tomorrow, hopefully. And that's about it from me. Please let me know what you'd like to see more of and less of in the comments. See you.